University College, established in 1921 in Colombo, was shifted to Peradeniya in 1942, creating a new university. The library, which developed fast with the growth of the university, played a major role in academic life, becoming the leading light of the excellence of University of Peradeniya. Now, 100 years later, when we look back at the trials, tribulations, as well as the triumphs of this first university in the island, we can't help taking note of key figures of the University of Peradeniya Library, whose dedication, vision, and unrelenting labor helped transform that fledgling institute into one of the greatest seats of learning in this part of the world. Mr. Reginald Stephen Wright was the first librarian of the university. In 1921, he started the library at College House with a collection of 2,500 books. He served the university until his untimely demise in 1952. Enright Memorial Scholarship was established on his second death anniversary, and a portrait was unveiled at the library bearing a silent testimony to his selfless service. Mr. Solomon Cecil Block served as the second librarian from 1952 to 1963. Literally, he was the first librarian to take over duties. At the beginning, the library was housed at the Faculty of Arts. On the 1st of July 1960, the 7-story library building was ceremonially opened under his leadership. Making one of the dreams of Sir Ivor Jennings come true, improvement of Ceylon collection was done during the term of his office. He took initiatives in starting of postgraduate course in library science and establishment of a branch of national bibliography at the library, which is still thriving as the legal deposit collection. Mr. K.D. Somadasa, who served from 1964 to 1971, is considered a shining star due to his rewarding contributions rendered to the scholarly world. Mr. Somadasa, attired in the national dress, was an Orientalist at heart. The role he played in developing of manuscript collections led Peradeniya Library to be one of the most outstanding repositories of knowledge. In 1975, he left Sri Lanka to accept a post in the British Library. Hanging over the reading room on the ground floor of University of Peradeniya Library is a portrait of Henry Alfred Ian Gunathilaka, the fourth librarian. He was the only Sri Lankan librarian invited to be the supervisor and a thesis examiner at the University of London. In the early 1970s, Mr. Gunathilaka was invited to be the chairman of the academic community of Peradeniya. In recognition of his scholarly achievements and contributions to the development of the academic stature, University of Peradeniya conferred on him the degree of Doctor of Letters in 1991. It was decided in 1994 to donate his unique collection to this institution, for which he had an incomparable love and attachment. At the time of his premature retirement in 1979, he had served for 27 long years in Peradeniya. He played many roles simultaneously and with equal felicity and dedication as a professional librarian, scholar, connoisseur of arts, as well as a trade unionist. Sri Lankan librarianship lost this eminent academic figure on 21st of May 2003. Mr. NTSA Senadira was appointed to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Mr. H.A.I. Gunathilaka. The credit of establishment of separate libraries in faculties should go to Mr. Senadira. A safety vault was built to protect the microfilms of important books and manuscripts during his time. Due to Mr. Senadira's efforts, the library became the groundbreaker in application of information technology in the field of library and information science. A program for training apprentice binders were initiated by Mr. Senadira, which is continuing even today. When he retired in September 2002, his complete service was 37 years.
I find that 28th of August 2020 is a very significant day for the library because we are going to have a special section which we call the new wing of the library will come into operation on that day. It is significant due to some other reason as well. That is, when the university library, the main library was opened in 1960, July 1st, there was no such formal occasion. The library was just open and the students walked in. But here, of course, we are having a very special occasion that indicates that the university feels that the library is a very important adjunct to the services in the university. I think the Vice Chancellor as well as the Council has done a great job by putting up this wing. When I was the librarian, I myself tried to do the same thing towards the end of 1990s, but I failed. But here, of course, I find that our acting librarian, Mr. Maheswaran, who was appointed acting librarian in 2015, within that brief period managed to see that a proper wing for the library is being done just parallel to the main building. I feel that not only the students but the staff as well will make the best use of this library and see that their knowledge that is acquired from this library will be used for the betterment of the country.
Mr. P. Harrison Pereira was the sixth librarian. In his mission, Mr. Pereira brought in performance indicators to the library. He was able to refurbish and launch automated systems in branch libraries. He put in a lot of energy towards training the staff and encouraged teamwork. Mr. Pereira retired in 2009, serving for 6 years at Peradeniya. Dr. Pradeepa Vijayatunga was the only lady to serve as the librarian. During her term, started in 2011, Institutional Repository was initiated and introduced the library management system KOHA. The establishment of Sarachandra Museum in the library was taken place during her period. Her lofty concept of duty enabled her maintain a high level of library service. In 2015, she left Peradeniya to receive the librarian post at University of Colombo. Mr. R. Maheshwaran, who is a versatile leader, was appointed as an acting librarian in the year 2015. Under his guidance, the digital library played a pivotal role in University of Peradeniya in becoming top in webometric ranking for 4 consecutive years.
After 60 years, now we are getting a new library building with 6 floors with all new digital library facilities for all the students. Then we have 100 years history of this library. We started the library from 1921. Now next year, 2021 is our 100-year century we're going to celebrate from the new building. Now we receive a fulfilled library and we are very happy. And now we can cater for this library with the new modern technology for our students and our staff.
In 2020, Mr. Maheshwaran was appointed as the 8th librarian of University of Peradeniya. We wish him all a success and courage to walk the trails of the former benefactors materially as well as spiritually in the development of this library. Names of professionals: Mr. S. Murugavel, Dr. Walter Marasinghe, Mr. A.T. Alvis, and many others who made invaluable contributions to bring to its high recognition should glow writ in gold in the history. All librarians at Peradeniya were dedicated and tasteful collectors of information, unique creators of ideas, as well as munificent distributors of knowledge. As a result, initial role of the institution as a library was eventually developed as an archive through facilitating legal deposit collection. Later on, another role is added to its operations as a museum with the addition of cultural heritage resources.
I would like to make this congratulatory note at the occasion of opening of the new library building at the University of Peradeniya. Concept of this extension is to establish a digital library where students will be provided with workstations with all online and electronic facilities. This will be established across 3 floors. However, the ground floor will be utilized to establish the museum, which is a long-felt need of Peradeniya. Further, University of Peradeniya is planning to provide limited opening to the public in the near future.
This multi-sided information repository today caters around 10,000 members across the university community, holds over 800,000 items of rare, valuable, and significant work which are varied from nature and format. Most importantly, the benefactors who were the leading lights of excellence of University of Peradeniya were products of University of Peradeniya itself. Almost all the cakes were baked at home. Much has already been written about them and more should follow.